A little while ago, people were outraged. Let me change that. People are still outraged over the bonuses that were made to AIG executives. What's being done in terms of oversight over the money that the TARP money was given to these banks to make sure that what happened to AIG is not it's not happening again?
Well, it's a great question, Rayson. Having been falling into the category, sort of no good deed goes unpunished category. The only law in the books dealing with bonuses is the one I wrote, in an 8-page long amendment that covers almost what I thought every imaginable situation, from luxury items and the like, to try and deal with it generically, so you weren't lurching from case to case, a Merrill Lynch to an AIG. It passed unanimously as part of the stimulus bill back in September. That legislation, now they're developing regulations off of it, and including even despite the argument about whether or not that provision and the date of the effective date of that, the language of that amendment in that clause gives the Secretary of the Treasury the ability to what is called clawing back, reaching back in these contracts, where the public interest has been violated. And you can make a case that public interest was violated here, and that's a justification for them going back. Now, the Treasury has come to talk to me about their regulations, and having been burned once, my response is, no, you tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you whether or not I think it's right or not. I'm not going to sit here and have you come and tell me something and have me sort of nod and say, it sounds good to me. I've been down that road with them once, and I won't do that again, I can tell you. So I'm anxious to hear what they're thinking about in terms of things. I'm not hostile to the idea of performance-based. You know, you get people come in and they really help this thing get back on its feet and move in the right direction and try to reward someone for having done a good job. I'm willing to listen to that argument. It's the idea of getting bonus for just retention because you're going to want to keep you around. I think the phony argument that no one else will do these things. So there's been a lot of people who have been laid off in this business who I think would be more than happy to take a job at reduced salary. They could have a job at all.
A lot of the current CEOs and such were the guys at the helm when the ship went on the rocks. I mean, how are they punished?
Yeah, well, they should. In my view, there's calling for people to be changing boards. I like the say-on-pay provisions. We're going to try and include that. A say-on-pay meaning, by the way, that shareholders, the owners, actually get a say, and who's in the management. You saw the other day with Bank of America. Say-on-pay doesn't exist today, but we're going to hopefully make it a part of the modernization of the financial regulatory structure, so that the actual owners of companies. There's very little interest in investors, shareholders, the consumers and users. We're going to try and put in place a consumer financial product safety commission as part of this structure as well. Today you have it for buying toasters. You've got some guarantee that it won't burn up when you plug it in. Not an illegitimate request to have a department of the government that checks to make sure that consumer items are not going to be dangerous to your health or your safety. We have nothing like that when it comes to financial instruments, in a sense to provide a way in which we can actually determine whether or not financial instruments. You've got to begin this debate, in my view, and this will be an interesting, see how this develops. I believe that if you begin with the notion of the consumer, and the consumer can be the shareholder, the investor, the depositor, the purchaser of a share or a stock, if you begin thinking about how does this affect them, everything else falls into place. If you begin by thinking how does it affect the financial institution to work down, you get the problems we've had. So in my meetings with the President and others on the subject matter, I'm making the case about beginning as a template. What is the framework for this? What are we thinking about? How do we want to restructure this architecture in a way that you're going to give that level of confidence? Now, when you deposit your paycheck, you have one level of expectation. You buy a stock, you have another. I mean, there are different levels of expectation. Buying an insurance policy. Some things you absolutely are certain you ought to be safe. You buy a share of stock, you may go up or down. That's a risk you take. So we need to have some sense of that consumer in mind, as I said, the depositor, the shareholder, the investor, the purchaser of a policy. How are they being affected by it?